It's another video for the Talk of the Town, Channahon, Minooka. I did a video in which I was talking about truck traffic and the trucking industry. And if you go back and you watch that video, what you're going to see is me talking about how if Channahon and Minooka never approved another warehouse, never approved another truck stop, never approved another truck parking lot or a diesel mechanic shop, and on top of that, went back and retroactively pulled the licenses and permits for all of the warehouses and truck stops and any business related to semis, and didn't allow any business related to semis to be in either town, that we would still get an increased number of trucks on our road each and every year. And the reason why we're going to keep getting an increased number of trucks on our roads is because distribution is the predominant industry in our region, and all of the neighboring communities are getting their piece of that pie. There are tax dollars to be had with that industry, and all of our neighboring communities are making sure that they get their portion of that tax pie. You take that and you combine it with the fact that we don't get to control who drives down county and state roads, only on village roads. And you can't stop increased truck traffic from going up and down Ridge Road, from going back and forth on Route 6, from going back and forth on Bluff Road here where I live. I live up in the neighborhood across the street from the golf course. You can't stop it. You're not going to stop it. It's never going to stop. So we can either take the truck traffic and none of the tax revenue, or we can take the truck traffic and some of the tax revenue. Either way, we're getting the truck traffic. The question is, do we want some of the tax revenue that goes with that truck traffic? And then we talked about the new intermodal yard that is going to go in on Route 6. That's not going to be stopped. Let's just make sure before we go any further in this video that everybody understands that. That CN yard is not going to be stopped. It is going in. Whether the communities approve it or not, it's going in. Period. Now, I want to show you a comment from somebody, and I want to reply to it in video format so that we can have this conversation. It's the comment on the bottom here from this woman by the name of Kirsten Broyles. We're having a respectful conversation, so let's keep it respectful. But let's go ahead and deal with some of the points that she brings up here. She starts with, I understand a lot of what you're saying, but you're missing the main concern, which is the amount of trucks. Trucks that utilize... So hang on, let's just pause right there. Her issue is there are going to be too many trucks on the road. That's the issue. Fair enough. Trucks that utilize Route 6/Ridge to get to other towns is in no way a comparison to what it will be with the intermodal. Also, as a resident of Minooka, it's a huge issue that Channahon will reap the tax benefits, but Minooka will be dealing with the majority of the truck traffic /noise /decreased property value /road damage due to the location. All right, now here's where we need to jump in. When I read, as a resident of Minooka, it's a huge issue that Channahon will reap the tax benefit, what I'm hearing is, if your town got some of the tax benefit, you'd be okay with what you determined to be the main issue, which is the amount of trucks. So my question to you would be, are you okay with the amount of trucks if you get some of the tax revenue? Or even if you get the tax revenue, is that still not okay to you? Because that's how I'm reading it. If you got some of the tax revenue, you guys would be okay with it. The reason why Minooka isn't getting some of the tax revenue is because the facility is not going to be in Minooka. It's going to be in Channahon, which is why Channahon is going to reap the tax benefits from it. Now, Minooka can financially benefit from this if they can figure out a way to do truck permits, but here's the problem, and it goes to your last part here, right? Minooka will be dealing with the majority of the truck traffic, noise, decreased property value /road damage. Wrong. This facility is going to be in Channahon, so a majority of the noise is going to be in Channahon, not Minooka. The traffic is going to be designed to go out Route 6 and west to Brisbane, or north on McClendon until it turns into Granger, and then it's going to loop over there by the Arby's and spill out onto Ridge just south of 80 so that they can go north and get on 80. All of those are not town roads. Granger isn't a town road. McClendon isn't a town road. 6 isn't a town road. So none of Minooka's town roads are actually going to be affected by this. They're all going to be, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, folks in the comment section, I believe all of those are county roads. So, no, Minooka roads aren't going to be affected by this in the least bit. Are you going to get increased truck traffic? Yes, just like increased truck traffic is going to happen in Channahon. If Minooka roads were going to be affected, then Minooka could figure out a way to benefit as a result of permitting. But because Minooka roads aren't going to be touched, unless a driver makes a wrong turn somewhere, which does happen from time to time, I'm not going to deny that it doesn't. But unless trucks are making wrong turns and going down village roads, unless as they're going north on McClendon, they decide, you know what, we're going to bounce through this subdivision here and come out, Lakewood over on Ridge Road, then you have an issue. But if they go north on McClendon, and keep in mind, McClendon goes north, goes past Minooka Road, and then turns into Granger in the industrial park, wraps around and comes out by the Arby's. That's not, to the best of my knowledge, I went and looked it up, that's not a Minooka Road. Even if they went north on McClendon, got to Minooka Road, and turned right to get to Ridge Road, they still aren't on a village road, to the best of my knowledge. So, no, Minooka roads are not going to be affected by this. The traffic or the noise is going to be predominantly in Channahon. Decreased property values. The people who are going to suffer decreased property values the most are going to be people on the west end of Lakewood Trails, which is Channahon, to the best of my knowledge, unless that changed to Minooka. Maybe that is Minooka now. I don't know. I thought it was Channahon, and if so, then my apologies. Property value, road damage, and we already covered the road damage. So to kind of button it up, Channahon's going to get the tax revenue because the facility is going to be in Channahon. The truck traffic is going to be routed down county roads as to avoid damaging village roads to the best of their ability. The truck traffic, the flight patterns, if you will, are going to be Route 6 west to Brisbane or McClendon north to Granger to Ridge Road to 80, which doesn't put them on a village road anywhere. So, listen, I understand it's going to bring a lot more trucks through the area. We're going to get a lot more trucks through the area no matter what. And CN wants to build a rail yard, and they're going to build it because railroads have the right of eminent domain. Channahon could go, fuck you, we're not building this. No way in hell we're going to approve this. And you know what the CN's going to do? Just take the fucking land and build it anyway, because that's what railroads do. That's what the federal government allowed the railroads to do eons ago, and that's what's going to happen. They are going to put this CN in. Period. I hate to be so crass about it, and I hate to be so blunt about it, but at the end of the day, the citizens of Minooka and the citizens of Channahon need to wrap their heads around this simple fact. This project is going to happen. You will not stop it. It is going to happen. So, we can figure out how to play nice in the sandbox with CN and figure out the flight patterns that work best for everybody. We can bitch and moan and not change anything, or we can pack our shit and move down the road. Either way, it's going to happen. So we can have this conversation ad nauseum, but nothing's going to change. And I understand that we have the open house with CN coming up at the high school. Here's something else everybody needs to understand. That's not this open forum where you're going to be pitched an idea and you're going to have a chance to stand up and speak your mind against this. This is them basically like a job fair. They're going to have some booths. They're going to have some tables. They're going to try and educate people about what it is that they're trying to do. And they're trying to play nice in the sandbox. If you guys show up there en masse with an attitude and talking to these people about how we're going to fucking stop you, they're going to laugh in your face. Continue on with the rest of their day, leave that function, go back to their jobs and continue building this fucking yard. Because that's what's going to happen. So we as a pair of communities can figure out how to play nice with them, work with them, and figure out a way that it benefits all of us together, or we can bitch and moan in the comment section of Facebook posts and get absolutely nowhere. But at the end of the day, you're not